And for money or gifts or anything like that, I honestly wouldn't do that. It's kind of weird to me. I just think that if you are dating the right type of man, you won't have to ask for those things. Like the right type of man that has a provider mindset and like wants to take care of you, wants to like be generous with you, like he's just going to do certain things without you having to ask. Last two guys that I dated were...
The interesting thing is most men are generous, but not all men have the capacity to be generous, because some guys might have the access to wealth more than others, because not all men are equal in terms of the amount of wealth that they can accumulate or the amount of wealth that they do have. But one thing is for sure is that a lot of the time a man would go through so much length, even to the point of bankrupting his own self and taking away from his reserve in order to make his woman happy or to do different activities to keep the relationship entertaining and rather not boring. But one thing is for sure, I do understand, like what she's saying, is that probably her attitude, the way that she treats these men are pleasant. And as men, when we get a pleasant or nice experience, then we definitely want to be able to show something, to give a reward, or to show something pleasant in return, to get some gift or take you to somewhere that you probably like. And one thing that I find interesting is that regardless that these men were able to fit her mold of the archetype of men or the type of men that she's looking for, but still they became her ex. Why is that?
Very much like that. Like I never asked for a Cartier bracelet. This man that I was dating like just wanted to get me something really nice. I barely even knew what Cartier was at the time. My Dyson Airwrap was a gift. One of them gave me a budget and a personal shopper at Bloomingdale's for my birthday. Like I just never asked for anything like that. Like I would never like expect those types of things. If you're dating the right...
So you're telling me these guys were able to provide for you, but they were not being able to be your lifelong partner? This is for her a way of accumulating wealth. Like and subscribe, thank you. To accumulate wealth and at the same time to let someone else pay for it. What I find interesting as well is that these guys could have probably wanted to prolong their relationship. These guys could have been doing the things that they should have been doing in order to keep her entertained or in order to keep her in their lives. Why is it that, they didn't really last? One thing is for sure is that in this modern era that we're living in, or 2026 that we're living in, relationship is always something seems to be that it's always something that is short term. There is a situation of chronic or repeated monogamy. There's no such thing as one person and for the rest of your life. I do understand, and inherently as men, this is what we would want. This is the thing that we would wish for. But in the other side, it doesn't seem like this is something that is really tapped into reality.
Right type of man, and he really likes you and he values you, he's just going to volunteer and offer to do these types of things. But if you think that just being pretty, just like looking good and being like nice is enough, it's not. Like if a man just values you for your looks, sure, he might like pay for things or give you some things, but like you are...
Another thing that is important to understand is that for her, she have a specific type of man that she look for. And for us guys, for you guys who are not there yet or who are not capable of doing these things for a woman, that shouldn't bring you down or make you feel any type of way that you feel less than. It shouldn't change your self-esteem. It's probably that your lifestyle doesn't allow you to do it. Because again, like I said in the very beginning, is that most guys are generous, that we want to treat our woman to the best of our abilities. One thing is for sure is that this is the way that it's always been pushed. We always have to think, what are you getting in return as a man as well? Because that's a very key thing. Because if you're gonna be giving or sharing your resources and sharing your time, sharing your energy and sharing your emotional intellect, and a lot of the time, we have to know what you're getting in return if the scale is being balanced in the other hand. Because one thing is for sure, a lot of the time, some people just feel that they are entitled to, because they are who they are entitled to get such treatment without doing any work or without putting themselves in the right attitude to receive it. And it's like when you go to a restaurant, it is customary to give a tip, right? When you get a good service, you want to reward the waiter or the waitress something to show your form of appreciation. But you will be very reluctant and hesitant if the waiter has treated you, have given you a terrible service. You'll be very reluctant to give them a tip, or you would be sparingly give them a tip with a grudge, or not really give them everything that you wanted to give them. So it's the same thing situation that ladies have to perhaps try to also imagine that one thing's for sure, you guys always want something, and as men we want something in return as well. And that's one thing that we want to be made clear. Like and subscribe, thank you.
Are easily replaceable to him. He has to value you with everything else that you offer and that you bring, and I mean in terms of like your personality and like who you are, all of that. I think it's more beneficial for women to focus on enriching themselves, enriching who they are, their personality, the things that they have going on, because men find that attractive. When you have a lot of things going for yourself, you're passionate about what you do, like men like that. They find that attractive. And I think that's a better way to try to attract the right man versus just seeking out a man that can take care of you and provide for you.
Yes, to finish up, you see, her mindset is welcoming to attract such men like who are providers. It's not just men who are providers, because I do believe most men, if not all men, almost all men are providers to a certain degree, to a certain level that they are able to afford. But for her, this is a different situation. When we look at her bracelet, this is what the type of men that she's dating are able to afford. But then one thing that she said that we need to think about or keep in our mind is that she's bringing something else as well. She's bringing her attitude and the ability to add value to this man's life, not just entitlement, not just because she's who she is, she have to receive it or she have to get it. And in her situation, she bring value that is just more than the personality, is just more than, you know, just her. She brings something in return that the man find valuable in order to keep her around. But one thing that I find again, that for some reason this relationship didn't work, but I do understand that the mindset is that, you know, for her, for example, it could be a lot of reason why it didn't last, but one thing is for sure is that, you know, the accumulation of wealth or wealth extractors. So this is one thing you have to really think about as well as a man. You need to think about, it's not something that's gonna be for the long term, but again, be mindful in the way that you are being generous, because you don't want to be taken advantage of or being plainly used as a loser. What do you guys think? Like and subscribe. Thank you.